marrying the capital's little tyrant in my sister's stead, terrified he'd discover I was an imposter. I'd start each day with nothing but praise the moment I opened my eyes. My husband is so talented, who knew you could write such beautiful calligraphy? Good heavens! Is there any man in this world more handsome than my husband? This is absolutely amazing. Until one day, he grabbed me by the waist. Keep praising me. Why did you stop? Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Subscribe us to read wonderful stories every day. Now the story begins. My elder sister ran away from her wedding to join the army. The marriage agreement between the Yuan family and the Ningyuan marquisate, painstakingly arranged, must not be broken. With gritted teeth, mother dressed me in bridal finery and sent me off in the wedding sedan. I was to marry the marquis's heir, Shui Yuqing. Who hadn't heard of Shui Yuqing, the notorious young tyrant of the capital who stirred up trouble wherever he went? Close kin to the emperor, nobles of the imperial court, they spend their days cockfighting and dog-walking, utterly devoid of learning or skill. The personal maid wiped her tears. Miss, marrying this wastrel will bring you nothing but misfortune. Let us be master and servant again in our next life. Such ominous words. I gave her 2 quick slaps. Life is what you make of it. Even the hardest times eventually passed. I refused to believe that getting married could be the death of me. On the wedding night, Shui Yuqing was surrounded and taken away for drinks. I leaned against the bed, drowsy and half asleep. In the dead of night, footsteps gradually approached outside the bridal chamber. Beneath the red bridal veil peeked out a pair of embroidered boots. He lifted the bridal veil, revealing my face as I smiled at him. My husband. He seemed startled. His eyes rolling back as he collapsed onto the bed, muttering under his breath, "That damned old man, forcing me to take a wife. No matter how beautiful the celestial maiden is, I will never yield." That's an ominous thing to say. I gave him 2 solid punches, then I took a closer look at him. Better looking than my elder brother Wan Huai, with brows like distant mountains, lips red and teeth white, he resembled an immortal prince, at least in terms of facial features. This marriage deal, no loss here. Mother said that from today onward, I must always remember my name is Yuan Qing. If the Ningyuan marquisate discovers the marriage substitution, it'll be disastrous. To avoid being thrown out on the streets if exposed, I must prepare early. Become the woman Shui Yuqing can't live without. My husband shows no ambition, much to the distress of his parents. On the first morning of our marriage, Shui Yuqing woke up and immediately prepared to leave. I followed closely behind him, step for step. "Darling, where are you going?" "I'm going." He turned his head and snorted. "What does it matter to you where I go?" After a pause, he said, "Yuan Qing, don't think for a moment that I could ever like you." Hey, what are you doing?" I planted a kiss on his cheek. His face instantly flushed crimson. My husband is truly so handsome. Good heavens, is there any man in this world more beautiful than my husband? All right, he scratched his head. Visibly uncomfortable. "Taking you there isn't completely out of the question, but you mustn't tell father and mother." A quarter hour later, Shui Yuqing brought me to the gambling den, producing 100 taels of silver as gambling stakes. He placed the bet on the table. "Big, I'm going all in on big." I refuse to believe I can't win it back today. I stood by his side, cheering him on. "Big, big, big. Ah, how could it be small? Husband, let's play one more round." "It's small again." "No. My husband must have bet correctly. Let's try one more time." "Don't worry, my husband, we're bound to win." I was the only woman at the entire gambling table, drawing quite a few glances. Shui Yuqing's ears turned red again as he whispered, "Be quiet. You stop shouting." Yet in less than an hour, all the money he'd brought was lost. The gamblers looked up at this regular patron of the casino and sighed in disbelief. No way, even young Master Shui is short on money now. Could it be his family's keeping him on a tight leash? "Need me to lend you some?" Shui Yu quickly retorted. "I just forgot to bring more money when I went out today. Let me check again. There must be some more." "Not at all." I silently disagreed in my heart. My mother-in-law told me she was afraid my husband might pick up bad habits outside, so she strictly controlled the daily allowance she gave him. Now he doesn't have a single penny left. The gamblers didn't believe him. Shui Yuqing was arguing fiercely with them, his face red and neck taut. When I gently tugged at his sleeve, he looked down impatiently. "What do you want?" I blinked my eyes. "Husband, don't be angry. I still have some money." I took the money pouch from my waist and placed it all in his hand. Shui Yuqing froze for a moment. It's my dowry. Husband, feel free to use it. If it's not enough, I'll go back and fetch more." The gamblers fell silent. Having never seen a woman willing to stake her dowry for her husband's gambling, "Aren't you afraid I'll lose it all?" Shui Yuqing asked. Not at all, I replied. My husband is exceptionally brilliant, he'll surely win it back. When you've had your fill of playing, let's go home for dinner, alright? My mother-in-law said my husband often spends entire days out having fun, not even eating meals. A person simply must eat. He hesitated to speak. Alright, I understand. In the end, he still didn't spend all the money. As we left the gambling den at dusk, he hung the money pouch back on my waist and flicked my forehead. Are you stupid? How could you just hand over your own dowry like that? The stupidest woman in the world is one who gives her dowry to a man for gambling. I'm not stupid, I said earnestly. My husband is so handsome, whatever he does must be right. Sigh. He let out a sigh. Forget it, I can't even be bothered to say it. Come home for dinner. The next day, and the day after that, and the day after that, Shui Yuqing still went to the gambling den. Since he couldn't drive me away, he had no choice but to let me follow him. Most of the people in the gambling den were men. After accompanying my husband there day after day, I became a familiar face to them. Some say I'm foolish, and I just smile without a word. Gradually, people started to tease. No wonder young Master Shui is so blessed, spoiled like a treasure at home. Yet still managed to find such a wonderful wife after marriage, another person said sourly. Unlike my shrew of a wife, if she found out I gambled away a whole month's salary, she'd raise hell. Indeed, the young master is truly blessed. The instigator was named Zhao Zhen, who had been at odds with Shui Yuqing since childhood. Whatever Shui Yuqing did, he would follow suit just to make things difficult for him. Yet this man was exceptionally talented, excelling in the Imperial Academy and now already a successful candidate in the Imperial examinations. Every time he clashed with Shui Yuqing, the elders would invariably place the blame on their own son. He glanced at me, then winked at Shui Yuqing. Your wife is as delectable as a feast, I wonder how she tastes at night. Even with my good temper, I knew this was a vulgar remark. My face flushed red with anger as I was about to explode, when suddenly Shui Yuqing flipped the gambling table and punched him square in the face. Zhao Zhen's nose bled profusely, his face twisted in fury. You filthy scoundrel, open your damn eyes and see clearly. This is my wife, my lawfully wedded wife. Watch your tongue. If I don't beat you until you call me grandpa today, I'll renounce the Shui family name. The scene quickly descended into chaos. Shui Yuqing was a young master raised in luxury, and when it came to real fighting, he only knew a few clumsy moves. So the Marquis of Ningyuan's household is something special, is it? Just because you're related to the imperial family, you think you can hurt people at will? Well, I'm a scholar personally examined by the emperor. Watch me beat you to death. Bring it on. Who's afraid of who? The beating grew fiercer. I hastily sent a maid back to inform my parents-in-law. I stepped forward to intervene but accidentally knocked my waist, the sudden pain bringing tears to my eyes. Husband, it hurts, I called out to him instinctively, thinking my voice was too soft for him to hear, but unexpectedly, he immediately turned his head and urgently asked, "What's wrong? This is outrageous. Who dares lay a hand on my wife?" He shielded me in front of him, and the fists of those people came flying, all landing on his body. Frantically, I tried to push him away. But he held me firmly and said, "Don't move, with a body like yours, one hit would be the end of you. After all, who made you? The one who pays me. Ouch, damn it hurts. Who the hell hit me?" Half an hour later, Shui Yuqing knelt before the ancestral hall. With the steward standing behind him holding the family disciplinary rod, he finally behaved. The patriarch fumed with rage, his beard bristling. "You unfilial son, unfilial, incorrigible, I thought marriage would settle you down. Yet barely any time has passed before you're out brawling again. What will people say tomorrow about my failure in raising you properly? Why can't you learn from Zhao Zhen, who became a second-rank imperial scholar at such a young age? If you had half his promise, I wouldn't care if you gambled, drank, or fought." Shui Yuqing remained defiant. "You've been failing at parenting for more than a day or two. If you're so fond of Zhao Zhen, why don't you just adopt him as your son? What do you need me for? I don't care about you anyway. Besides, what mutual brawl? It was clearly me getting beaten up alone." The father-in-law grew even angrier. "You dare to act shameless when you're the one who refuses to learn proper behavior. What are you standing there for? Bring out the family discipline." The steward's face turned ashen. As the board was about to descend, I quickly threw myself forward to block the blow for him. Hiss, that really hurt. "I'll make sure he repays me 1,000-fold in the future." My in-laws were shocked. "Ching Ching, are you out of your mind, girl?" I wiped my tears. "My husband has already taken quite a beating tonight. If he gets hit anymore, he'll be ruined, and if he's ruined, I won't have a husband anymore." It was Zhao Zhen who insulted me first, And that's why my husband took action. Shut up, Shui Yuqing glared at me. I fought him because I couldn't stand him. What's it to you? If you want to hit me, then hit me, even if you beat me to death. TSK TSK TSK, that's inauspicious talk. I slap his mouth repeatedly. If I ruin it, how will my husband take next year's imperial examination? Shui Yuqing stiffens his neck. When did I ever say I was going to take the imperial exam? MMPH, I knelt before him, reasoning with my in-laws. Father, mother, my husband is very intelligent. Just yesterday he said he's certain to pass the imperial examinations with flying colors next year. I ignored Shui Yuqing's resentful glare. My mother-in-law scoffed. Then why is he still going to gambling dens? Oh, it was to practice arithmetic. And the money you won, I answered without batting an eye, spent it on clothes and jewelry for me. The beating was finally avoided. Afterwards, back in the room, I applied medicine to his wounds. Shui Yuqing turned his head away. I don't like you at all. I protected you because I lost my balance. I nodded. My husband is the most amazing. After a long silence, he muttered gloomily, is Zhaozhen really that good? My husband is the best. Nonsense, he said disbelievingly. Who wouldn't want to be an imperial scholar's wife? I only want to be my husband's wife. No matter how capable Zhaozhen is, it has nothing to do with me. My husband is the most outstanding, most excellent, and most handsome man in the whole world. Shui Yang's face flushed red. When he gets shy, the blush spreads from his ears down to his neck, like his drunk. Meeting my gaze for just a second, he immediately looked away as if burned. At night we shared the same pillow on the bed. My back hurt so much I kept changing sleeping positions. He poked me. Stop crying, I'll massage it for you. A warm palm gently pressed against my lower back. He let me lean against him to sleep. Just for tonight, don't overthink it. I was deeply moved. You're so wonderful, my husband, the best in the world. He snorted lightly. At least you have good taste. After this incident, he never went to the gambling den again. He went to the fighting arena instead. He trained a large curated named Golden Lute. It was agile in form and pleasing in song. With this curated, he won quite a sum of money. Just as he was feeling smug, Zhaozhen splurged on an even larger curated from who knows where, named Rhodiola. When they met at the fighting arena, Shui Yuqing and he were at odds. And Rhodiola nearly bit Golden Peeper to death. Lord Shui, I told you you'd never best me in this lifetime. Quit wasting your effort and hurry home to warm your wife's bed. Ha 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 ha. Shui Yuqing swallowed his anger again and again, remembering the lesson from last time, and managed not to throw a punch. After returning home, he sought out experts to learn the art of training curated. That evening, after his bath and change of clothes, I was holding a book to read. My lord. Why did Chang Hong turn into jade? Shui Yuqing met my expectant gaze and swallowed the words I don't know. Well, it's that meaning. Can't explain it clearly in a few words. Please speak freely, my lord, I'm listening attentively. After waiting for a while without getting a response, I leaned closer to him and asked curiously, husband, can't you do it? Is there really something in this world that you can't do? Are you deliberately testing me? His face stiffened, and he gritted his teeth, saying, who said I can't do it? Just wait, I'll go pay my respects to the old man first. He snatched the book and ran out. That night, as the Marquis of Ningyuan and his wife were washing their feet, the rebellious son suddenly burst in like a madman, splashing half the basin of foot-washing water. Father, the rebellious son scratched his head and said reluctantly, what does Chang Hong transforming into jade mean? The Marquis of Ningyuan and his wife exchanged glances. Incredulous, what did you say? Shui Yuqing asked again with a stern face. The Marquis of Ningyuan almost thought his son was possessed by a ghost. It had been a long time since father and son had been so harmonious. After finishing the lecture, the rebellious son hurried off again in his usual whirlwind manner. How long has it been since Yuqing last opened a book? This wife was truly the right match. Ching is indeed our family's lucky star. The Marchioness sighed with emotion, then recalled another matter. My lord, I heard a female general recently arrived from the southern border. Sure. The Marquis of Ningyuan lowered his voice as their son hadn't gone far yet. As long as the young couple is happy together, there's no need to dwell on such matters. Shui Yuqing spent half the night reading the spring and autumn annals. The summer cicadas chirped incessantly, and the golden crickets sang with particular cheerfulness, so I quietly moved the grasshopper cage farther away. Shui Yuqing had fallen asleep on the desk. His jade-like skin and slightly upturned eyelashes cast delicate shadows on his eyelids. Holding my breath, I stared at him, feeling my cheeks flush without realizing it. Early the next morning, as Shui Yuqing was about to leave, I blocked the door with both hands, looking up at him with pleading eyes. "Husband, can you stay home today?" he asked in confusion. "What's wrong? Father has hired a tutor for you, and lessons begin today." Before I could finish, his expression darkened. "I won't go. No learning, no learning, no learning." I grabbed his sleeve and coaxed softly. Go on, my husband is so clever, he masters everything with just a hint. The teacher is only here for a few days, and he'll be returning to his hometown soon. Husband, please." No matter what I said, he wouldn't budge. Pursing his lips tightly, he walked around me carrying the cricket cage and left. "But husband," I squatted by the doorway, watching his retreating figure until my vision blurred with unshed tears. "Father went out of his way to invite the former Minister of Rights to tutor you. If I can't keep you here, both father and mother will scold me. Mother will also say I'm useless, that I can't do anything right. What should I do?" Shui Yuqing paused in his steps, but still walked away. I squatted on the ground, lost in thought. After a short while, he returned, his face full of irritation. "Isn't it just about reading a book?" He pulled me up, roughly wiped the tears from my face, and softened his tone a little. "Stop crying, I'll go then." Shui Yuqing studied with the teacher for 2 months. His parents-in-law didn't believe he could be so obedient and secretly peeked through the window. At first he managed to sit still, but before long he couldn't take it anymore. The moment he stopped playing, his whole body itched with restlessness. Once again, I intercepted him at the back door. Shui Yuqing pretended nothing had happened, made a quick turn with his feet, and walked right back. I followed him. "Where did you go, my lord?" "To relieve myself." Lying to me. But praising him had become second nature, so the words came out effortlessly. Good heavens, my lord actually went to relieve himself in person. "Stop talking." His ears turned red as he covered my mouth. "You might not care about shame, but I do." Sigh. Facing my infatuation, he sighed deeply and lamented. "What will you do without me?" I asked suspiciously. "Husband, did you wash your hands after using the restroom?" Shui Yuqing froze, his expression unchanged. "I did." "You lied to me again. Sleep on the floor tonight." The next day, I had the kitchen prepare many dishes from the teacher's hometown. Pleased with the meal, the teacher smiled until his face creased with wrinkles and generously granted my husband 2 days off. My husband slept until the sun was high in the sky, undisturbed. As soon as he got up, I handed the cricket to him. Having not played for a long time, the cricket I raised had become vibrant in color and full of energy. "If my husband wishes to go play, then go ahead. It's a holiday today. I'll speak to your parents about it." Shui Yuqing's eyes lit up with joy as he exclaimed, "My wife is truly the best." He took 2 steps forward with the grasshopper, then turned back excitedly and kissed me. We both froze in shock. Shui Yuqing's ears grew redder and redder as he fled like a startled hare. By afternoon, he had returned and sat with me on the swing. Suddenly I realized crickets weren't that fun after all. Better to study. The tutor returned to his hometown after 2 months of teaching, praising my husband's exceptional talent before leaving, saying he would surely pass the imperial examinations with flying colors someday. My in-laws were overjoyed and tightened their supervision of him even more. Apart from eating and sleeping, all he did was study. It was pure misery. My husband was pushed to the point of rebellion, and just then, Zhao Zhen took the opportunity to enter our residence under the pretext of sharing imperial examination experience. When no one was around, with just a few words, he provoked Shui Yuqing into leaving the house with him. Unexpectedly, he still hadn't returned by midnight. We couldn't keep it from his parents any longer. When we sent someone to inquire, we learned that Shui Yuqing was drinking with others in a pleasure house. Upon hearing this, my body swayed unsteadily, vaguely recalling that father was the same endless concubines and maidservants in the household, and women outside. Night after night, mother waited, her accumulated hopes for him gradually cooling, draining away, until there were no more ripples of emotion. Must I walk the same path as mother? My mother-in-law held me in her arms, heartbroken. That damned fool. Gambling and brawling were bad enough, but I thought he'd turned over a new leaf. Now he's taken to whoring. Could it be that the ancestral rule of our Ningyuan marquisate, never to take concubines, will be broken by him? Just wait till he comes back, I'll beat him to death. The father-in-law brought him back with the servants, kicking him to his knees in the ancestral hall. "You worthless scoundrel, bring out the family discipline." Shui Yuqing sobered up slightly, looking around in confusion. I watched him silently. The board struck him, and he let out a sharp cry of pain. "Why hit me?" "It was that Zhao fellow who insisted on drinking with me. He said I was a coward if I didn't drink." Outrageous. His father-in-law slapped him again. You dare make excuses for your mischief and even slander others. Zhao Zhen is steady and modest, refined and courteous. Ask anyone in the capital. When has he ever indulged in such revelry? More likely, it was you who egged him on. It was him. I didn't do anything. Fine. You mentioned Zhao Zhen, then where is he now? All the guests in this building saw nothing but you, Shui Yuqing, dead drunk and making a complete disgrace of our Shui family. Shui Yuqing was too drunk to even notice when Zhao Zhen had left. He'd been tricked again. He knelt bolt upright, stubbornly refusing to admit his mistake. The board came down heavily on him, but he gritted his teeth without making a sound, perhaps fueled by alcohol. Shui Yuqing loudly vented his grievances. Every single time it's like this. You all say Zhao Zhen comes from a humble background, that his family is poor, and that I should give way to him, but every time, he's the one who provokes me first, so who's going to give way to me? He did it on purpose. Knowing our family was struggling financially and too proud to ask directly, he deliberately provoked me. He knew if I beat him half to death, you'd come bearing gifts and apologies. Even now when he doesn't need money, he still comes to provoke me, just to see me suffer, and you've never believed me, not once. I hate you. Here was a man already 20 years old, crying with fat tears rolling down his cheeks one by one. I want to find a crystal glass bowl to serve him with. How dare you? You unfilial son, still try to argue. Father-in-law took the paddle to discipline him himself, but I grabbed hold of him and pleaded urgently, no, don't hit him anymore. Mother-in-law was taken aback for a moment. Ching, Yuqing went out drinking with courtesans today. You deserve an explanation for this. I know, my eyes welled up with tears, but what my husband has always liked is acting on impulse. He's not greedy for wealth or lustful, nor would he ever do anything vile to harm others. He's just playful, not wicked. Drinking at brothels, he probably just had some wine and didn't do anything else. I nudged him. Husband, isn't that right? Shui Yuqing turned his head away. The hell it is. I not only drank but also called for girls. Smack. I slapped him across the face, glaring. Say that again. What's wrong with me calling her girl? Smack. Say it properly. I'll just keep calling her girl. Smack. I bit my lip, tears streaming down my face as I spoke word by word. Say it again. Shui Yuqing looked at me, his voice suddenly softening as he wiped his tears vigorously. No, I didn't call for the young lady. I was just drunk. He knelt and crawled forward, clutching my legs. Darling, I was wrong. Woo. Stop hitting me. It hurts so much. The Marquis of Ningyuan and his wife were stunned, looking up at the sky. Madness, utter madness. Shui Yuqing lay in bed for several days. The father-in-law began to re-examine the events of recent years, how he had sent all sorts of rare treasures to his son's room, yet couldn't bring himself to apologize. Shui Yuqing said, now you come with milk after the child has died. Too late. I gave him a slap and said, focus on your studies. Ouch. That hurts. Father and son were at a standstill. When Shui Yanxue encountered something he didn't understand, he had no one to ask for help. I decided to take him home and ask my elder brother to give him some guidance. Shui Yuqing's upturned lips drooped as he followed me back to my parents' home with a deeply resentful expression. Our Yuan family comes from a military household background. It was only because my father took an arrow for the late Marquis on the battlefield that this marriage arrangement came to be. Father had connections in the army and originally intended for my eldest brother, Yuan Huai, to pursue a military career, but my brother was born frail and sickly, with an obsessive love for books. Last year, he already entered the Hanlin Academy as a compiler. As for my elder sister, she inherited all of father's martial skills. My eldest brother is even fiercer than I am. He probably didn't understand why my parents insisted on marrying me off to such an utterly ignorant husband. With my elder brother present, my husband was scolded into silence. Pitifully, he whispered in my ear, wife, I miss my father. Got it. The eldest brother glanced at him and pulled out a calligraphy copybook. Look at your chicken scratch handwriting. The imperial exams are only 6 months away. You have 1 month to master the standard examination script. I'll check then. And if you haven't improved, he tapped the ruler in his hand. You know what'll happen. Shui Yuqing's face turned ashen. I cleared my throat lightly. My eldest brother walked away with his hands behind his back, murmuring, I'll ask father and mother to find a better husband for our eldest sister. Shui Yuqing's expression turned stern. My heart swelled with longing. Husband, I want to be the wife of a Jinsha scholar. You said you didn't like Jinsha. What a hypocritical woman. Even as he muttered these words, he studied even more diligently. Though he frequently visited home, his parents-in-law had no objections. Shui Yuqing asked curiously, wife, I heard you have a younger sister. Why haven't I seen her around? I quickly said. My younger sister is exceptionally skilled in martial arts. She followed in our father's footsteps and joined the army. So that's how it is, Shui Yuqing exclaimed in admiration. Truly, a woman who rivals men in valor. I lowered my eyes with a hint of melancholy. My spirits remained low throughout the entire day. Shui Yuqing somehow sensed my unhappiness. That evening when he returned home, he conjured up an exquisite doll to give me, while also managing to swindle a candid hawthorn skewer from a passing child. Darling, he took my hand, intertwining our fingers. My dear wife, don't be upset. I promise I'll study seriously. He was coaxing me, leaning against me while acting spoiled. Everyone calls you Ching Ching, so can I call you Ching Ching too, my lady? Ching Ching, I responded with a sullen hum. In the blink of an eye, the Lantern Festival arrived. My elder brother, being close friends with the deputy examiner of this year's imperial examinations, had deduced the emperor's intentions and provided Shui Yuqing with numerous potential examination topics likely to appear. Every 3 days, my husband would go to the Ruan family to listen to my elder brother expound on classical texts and political theories. To express gratitude to my elder brother, my in-laws prepared many gifts. During the Lantern Festival, I took the presents home to visit. My elder brother tousled my hair, his eyes smiling. Our little sister has grown up, married now, and become even more beautiful. When did you learn such formal courtesies? My cheeks flushed slightly. It was my mother-in-law who insisted I bring them. I wouldn't stand on ceremony with you. Tonight's the Lantern Festival, why not go take a look? I don't want to, elder brother pressed further. What about mother? I'm not going. I shook my head. Mother wouldn't want to see me. Otherwise, she wouldn't have specifically instructed me not to return home after marriage. After finishing my conversation with my elder brother, I waited for my husband to pick me up, just in time to see my mother returning home. We both froze in surprise. Mother's expression turned cold as she looked me up and down. Didn't I warn you to be careful? Why have you come back? I have a gift for brother. A gift? Mother's voice suddenly turned shrill. So you remember today is the Lantern Festival. After all these years I've worked so hard to raise you. All you care about is your brother and sister. Why don't I see you sparing a single thought for your parents? All these years, refusing to go out every Lantern Festival. Who are you making that face for? I knew you blamed me. You really do blame me. You're vulgar and worthless. I should never have. Mother. I stood frozen in panic. The elder brother stopped him in time to prevent even harsher words from being spoken. You can blame father for what happened back then. You can blame the wet nurse. You can blame me and Ching Ching, but you must never blame little sister. My brother stepped in front of me and said solemnly, she was only 4 years old. She didn't understand anything. But mother covered her face and wept. Before your sister went missing, she was so lovely. Like jade and snow, I cherished her with all my heart. But after she returned, she refused to be close to me. What else could this be but resentment? I opened my mouth, my head buzzing. I could barely hear anything. I wanted to say it wasn't me. I didn't do it. I didn't mean to. I no longer dare to celebrate the Lantern Festival. I miss Shuiyu. He must have known all along that my fierceness was just a facade, that I was timid and cowardly at heart. Yet no matter what I did, he never once reproached me. I want to go home. I need to find a husband. A breeze swept through the courtyard. When I turned around, Shui Yuqing was standing at the gate, quietly watching me. Who knows how much he overheard? I should have known. There's no hiding a guilty conscience forever. When Shui Yuqing carried me home on his back, my eldest brother's voice rang out behind us. Shui Lang, if my sister has faults, she's still my own blood. Wan Huai's sister. If you can't provide for her, send her back to the Ruan family. Shui Yuqing's face darkened as he turned and walked away without another word to me. Even from a distance, the sound of their argument still reached us. What child wouldn't want to be close to their parents? It's just that you're too harsh, constantly forcing her to learn all those rules. I only want her to marry well and live comfortably in the future. You're being unreasonable. That's right. I couldn't uphold the dignity expected of a noblewoman. Mother had originally intended to betroth me to one of father's soldiers. If elder sister hadn't fled her arranged marriage, I likely would have ended up hastily spending my life with just anyone. Shui Yuqing cupped my buttocks, giving me a little upward bounce. I carefully settled onto his back, like a prisoner awaiting judgment. Darling, he turned his head slightly, his voice gentle. Did you get lost when you were little? I whispered. You wouldn't want to hear it. I'd love to hear it. Could you tell me, my dear? All right, though there's really not much to say. I was too young to remember much, only that it was the 10th year of His Majesty's reign, a time of favorable weather and national prosperity. during the Lantern Festival, the streets were bustling with crowds of revelers. Mother walked ahead with my elder siblings, while the wet nurse carried me, when we stopped to rest after tiring from the stroll, in a moment of carelessness. I was lured away by a kidnapper with candy. Before the kidnapper could transport me elsewhere, their hideout was raided. I wandered outside for 7 years, through wind, frost, rain, and snow. I begged for food from people. My parents never found me. In the 10th year of Jingping, when my eldest brother first ascended the Golden Throne, he scoured every bookshop in the city for a rare ancient text. Outside a bookshop stood a food stall, as I nibbled on a scavenged steamed bun. Our eyes met in stunned silence, the resemblance in our features, the questionable age gap, it all spoke volumes. Elder sister said, of the whole family, I resemble our mother the most, while she takes after our father with his thick eyebrows and big eyes. One look and you can tell we're family, though bound by blood. I could never become a refined young lady. Mother found me an embarrassment and never took me out to social gatherings. Having enough to eat and wear, with family by my side, is already good enough. As time passed, I stopped thinking about it. For 7 years of wandering, I never left the capital. Why is it that my parents just can't be found? My words came out in broken fragments. Tears fell freely onto his neck like they cost nothing. Shui Yuqing listened quietly without interruption. Only after I finished speaking did he smile and say, that's impressive, surviving alone out there for 7 years. My lady has suffered, truth be told. We'd actually arrived home long ago. He'd been carrying me in circles along the moat. Only after a long while did he finally ask that most important question. So, what is my lady's name? I tightened my arms around his neck and sobbed. Wanshi, like the stream in 11 Liu. I'll remember. Shui Yuqing turned his head to kiss me, his voice choked with emotion. I owe my wife a proper wedding ceremony. A light rain fell during the spring imperial examinations. I prepared clothes and dry provisions for my husband and went to the examination hall early. My mother-in-law dragged my father-in-law around to pray to every god and Buddha. On the day the imperial exams ended, my mother-in-law and I waited outside. That wretched scoundrel, my mother-in-law gnashed her teeth. We'll question him when he comes out. If he says he did well, we'll give him 1,000 taels. If he says he did poorly, we'll beat him right then and there. Me, Shui Yuqing, utterly exhausted and listless, stepped out of the examination hall and immediately rushed to embrace me upon seeing me. My dear, you're about to become the wife of a scholar official. Shui Yuqing received 1,000 taels of silver, but instead of gambling or cricket fighting, he deposited all the money into my private treasury. I refused. This was given to you by mother. There's no yours or mine between us, my dear, Shui Yuqing said with a beaming smile. Without your constant urging, there would be no Shuelang today. As an untalented man, all I can do is present Buddha with borrowed flowers. His mother also laughed. It was my oversight. I should have prepared 10,000 taels for our great heroine. The other day His Majesty bestowed some cloud-patterned brocade, and I think it would suit Qingqing's fair complexion perfectly. Shui Yuqing immediately protested. Mother, you're playing favorites, you little bastard asking for a beating. My mother-in-law pulled me aside and whispered, good girl, tell me honestly, is Yuqing inadequate? I was stunned. Inadequate at what? I see you two are close enough but lack passion. If Yuqing can't perform, just say so. I'll grant you a divorce decree. Don't waste your youth in a living widowhood. I bit my lip. I've been busy preparing for the imperial examinations all year. Who has time for such things? In broad daylight, my face burned crimson with embarrassment. I gave the nosy onlooker a sharp pinch. The day of the imperial examination results was bustling with activity. Shui Yuqing didn't let me go. Fearing I might get jostled in the crowd, he sent 2 quick-witted servants instead to check the results. He pretended to be composed, but in truth, he was so nervous he couldn't sit still. His father-in-law, being an official at court, had already received the news in advance. When he returned to the estate, the entire courtyard full of people turned their eyes toward him in unison. Still rather young after all, his writing shows some immaturity. The Marquis of Ningyuan stroked his non-existent beard. His Majesty personally inscribed the decree, granting him the title of Tanhua, but he must not become complacent. Before father-in-law could finish speaking, Shui Yuqing fell to his knees with a loud thud. Father, mother, I want to take a wife. The in-laws widened their eyes in shock, immediately grabbing their walking sticks and began beating him, chasing their son-in-law all around the courtyard. You ungrateful wretch, isn't your wife good enough? She's worked day and night to support your studies. And now that you've gained some success, you want to abandon her. I'll beat some sense into you, you worthless, let me tell you. In this lifetime I've already decided this is my daughter-in-law, not even a heavenly fairy could replace her. Mother, please let me explain. The three of them were circling in front of me, and I couldn't stop them no matter how hard I tried. Shui Yuqing, exhausted from running, hid behind me. Father, mother, I wish to marry Yuan Shi, the second daughter of Commandant Yuan Heng of the Xuanwu garrison, now, immediately. I beg for your approval, you little brat. Even if you were asking to marry a princess, it wouldn't be allowed. My mother-in-law tugged at my father-in-law's sleeve. Father-in-law finally snapped out of it, trembling as he stared at the slap mark on his husband's face. Son, let me explain. The in-laws never expected their son-in-law had already discovered the truth. They hadn't dared speak up, fearing Shui Yuqing's temperament might cause trouble if he found out. I've always thought that as long as the children are doing well, it's fine to let the mistake stand. I just never imagined I'd end up living forever under my elder sister's name because of it. Now, it's finally time to exchange back the real birth horoscopes. My parents-in-law feel deeply remorseful about this. He gifted me 2 country estates and 3 townhouses. Shui Yuqing shamelessly accepted them on my behalf. Truth be told, the Yuan family bears the primary blame in this matter. When news of Shui Yuqing's impending marriage spread, the entire capital was abuzz. She thought he was going to abandon his wife and marry another. He had recently attracted much attention. The once profligate young master suddenly turned over a new leaf, earning the title of Tanhua, third-place scholar, and parading through the streets on horseback. Coupled with his striking looks, he became even more of a magnet for admirers. Returning from the parade, he reeked of perfumed handkerchiefs and face powder. I mercilessly sent him off to bathe. I was displeased, thoroughly displeased. I'd already made him sleep on the floor for several nights. Father-in-law said that even the retired Minister Wang had gotten wind of it, sending a letter from afar to propose his granddaughter's hand in marriage. The family was noble, the words sincere, stating that if his current wife was unwilling to leave, she would even be willing to become a co-wife. Father-in-law left the matter for Shui Yuqing to handle. Yet he hasn't mentioned a word of it to me till now. My heart burned with anger as I gathered my writing materials in the study. An unsealed letter fell out. I am deeply honored by your proposal to betroth your granddaughter to me. However, upon reflection, I fear my dull nature makes me unworthy of such an excellent match. Lang already has a wife, to whom I've pledged my life. My wife is wise and kind-hearted. In the past, when others mocked me as a wastrel who disgraced our family, she never abandoned me. If my lady now appears somewhat timid, the fault lies entirely with me for failing to protect her properly. How could I possibly have the face to shame her? I held the letter in my hand, stunned for a long moment. My heart softened despite myself. Suddenly, a pair of hands encircled my waist from behind. Our Lady of the House is perfect in every way, except her thoughts are hard to guess. I raised my hand to strike, but he caught my wrist and whispered plaintively in my ear, though I'm willing to guess, there are times I might not get it right. Next time you're angry, could you give me a hint? A wave of heat washed over me. Only then did I realize, after his bath, his robe hung half open, his powerful chest pressed against me. My heartbeat quickened. I was utterly embarrassed. You need to put your clothes on properly, as you command. His teeth lightly nibbled at my earlobe, and he swiftly slipped away before I could get angry. As the wedding date approached, Shui Yuqing sent me home first. My parents and eldest brother were all waiting at the door. Mother's expression was complicated as she privately discussed with me. Your substitution in the marriage was originally an act of desperation. Now that Yuqing has discovered it and wants to hold another wedding ceremony, it's time to set things right. All the tenderness in my heart instantly turned cold. Mother. What did you say? Covering her face with her hands, Mother sobbed. Your sister has gone to the southern borderlands, a harsh and bitter place unfit for a young lady. This marriage was originally meant for your sister. With your gentle nature, you were never suited to be the wife of a noble heir. In time, Mother will surely find you a better match. Absurd. Twice betrothed, twice replaced. Who knew how she had come up with such an idea? I withdrew my hand, expressionless. Does my elder sister know about this idea of yours? She does, Mother quickly replied. Your brother has already written to your sister. She'll be back soon. I don't believe it. Elder sister would never agree. Mother was furious and pushed me. Yuan Shi, do you want me, your own mother, to die before your eyes? Aunt, I was about to say something when Shui Yuqing stood behind me. I respect you as an elder, but when discussing marriage, shouldn't you ask for the opinion of the person involved? Me, except for Yuan Shi, I want no one else. If you have other intentions, I'll take her home immediately. Moreover, Shui Yuqing smiled slightly. giving my hand a reassuring squeeze. Favoring one over another is only human nature. Wan Huai is a man, destined to inherit the family lineage. Wan Qing is the eldest daughter, raised by your own hands. But Wan Shi, what have you ever given her? Have you ever spared her a single thought? Wan Shi is my wife. Hearing you speak of her like this makes me uncomfortable. I'm unhappy, and naturally, the Ningyuan Marquis's household is unhappy as well. Aunt, please think it over carefully. Mother opened her mouth but couldn't utter a word. Turning around, I saw my eldest brother leaning against the doorway, watching me leisurely as he raised an eyebrow. Elder brother sent a letter, sister is coming home, they say to hasten her return. The letter made much of Shui Yuqing's remarriage. Sister was terrified. Just the other day she heard we were a harmonious couple. How could he be marrying again? Could it be Shui Yuqing has repented and taken another wife? Elder sister exhausted 8 horses rushing back overnight from the southern border. She returned and scolded eldest brother and Shui Yuqing until they were thoroughly drenched in blood and spittle. Brother and sister fought over who would carry me out for the wedding procession. In the end, elder sister won. My elder brother, a 7-foot-tall man, couldn't beat my sister in a fight. Furious, he grabbed a bamboo pole and chased her around the yard. They nearly tore down my boudoir in the process. On my wedding day, my sister carried me to the bridal sedan. She bore me steadily on her back. Her posture strong and agile. My husband, Moonfall, elder sister whispered, "Don't be afraid, live each day as it comes, and don't be too mild-tempered either. Beware of being bullied. If you do get bullied, it doesn't matter. Your sister is here. I am now a Qianhu officer, and in the future I will become a vanguard, a captain, a great general. I will earn military merits, be enfeoffed as a marquis and appointed as a chancellor. No one will ever bully my sister again, as long as I'm here. I'll be Wan Shi's greatest source of confidence." My eyes grew moist. Lying on my elder sister's back, I still couldn't bring myself to ask the question that had been buried in my heart for so long. The familiar wedding night rituals. The difference was, this time Shui Yuqing wasn't drunk, vigorous and spirited. His eyes sparkling with vitality. He lifted my red bridal veil, removed my outer robe and inner garments. Then paused at the innermost layer, the magpie on plum blossom embroidered bellaband. My face burned as if on fire. For the first time since creation, we both felt somewhat flustered. He leaned close to my ear, his voice deep. "May my lady perform the rites of Ju with me?" I don't know how." "Then let me learn a bit. My lady, please bear with me." He rose and fell within me. His voice also rose and fell. In the midst of it all, for some reason he felt guilty and asked, "Why aren't you praising me today, my lady? I really don't have the strength left." Lift my leg to kick him. He catches my leg and throws it over his shoulder. Moonlight filters through the window lattice. The moon disappeared into the clouds. Deeper it sank.